essentially have one of the most unique perspectives because you're constantly switching hats between a high-level coach and a high-level player. I mean, I think you're the only person in Minnesota history that has the Player of the Year, Teacher of the Year, and Player Development Award.
Yeah, I don't keep track of this stuff. Thankfully, Ellen did. Yeah, it was like 3-time Player of the Year, and then all the coaching awards that you can win. We've been fortunate enough to none of this stuff, and I don't know if any of this stuff's all being recorded.
Oh yeah,
or what.
we're recording. We're kind of just rolling.
Oh, it's perfect. So it's super interesting with the Player of the Year stuff, and then with all the teaching awards. I'm really comfortable saying that the teaching awards have nothing to do with me whatsoever, right? So we built this community up around us with really highly motivated people, and I spent my life just investing in people, and that's it. And what comes of it is fascinating on everyone's results and outcomes, and it's silly. We kind of just get up every day and all try to get better, me included, right? So all the awards that come from it, it's all the players, right? I joke with them a lot where if they're playing really good, it's all on them. And if it gets a little weird, then it's my fault. So that's where I get to get involved. And we just I kind of put bumpers on it, basically. I really try to help people understand what they do and get good at doing them. So I don't have two swings that are the same. I really enjoy getting to know people and what actually makes them go. I got to figure out like their why and their purpose.
Absolutely.
And as I get deeper into their lives and invest more into their lives, the amount of commitment and confidence and self-belief that comes from that is overwhelming, right? So it's been super enjoyable. There's a lot of gratitude in spending an enormous amount of time with people and actually doing that and what that actually looks like. And my wife and my little guy at home may say otherwise a hair, because it has to be all the time, right? The time that I can only physically be in front of people is actually quite limited. So I make an effort to constantly communicate. I think the level of communication within our community, not only from me to our players, I've got two other full-time instructors, Peter and Alex. I have a full-time college advisor, and Ellen, and all of us do our very best to be a part of people's lives. And from that, there's some really cool stuff that has come out.
You're doing an amazing job at it. And I guess when you do find time, because you teach quite a bit, when you do find time, what are you preparing for? How are you preparing for this Pro Golf Championship that's in Bandon this year? And what does it mean to you?
Yeah, I'm thoughtful, obviously, with time management, and the time that I use for myself is certainly secondary to my community. My players, my family is first. My players, I'm down the list a ways.
Absolutely.
So when I do have the opportunities, right now it's a bit silly here, right? And preparing for Bandon, from everything I've heard, I've yet to be there. I've never been on property before, but from what I understand, it will be variable. It will be raw to some effect, and it will be variable. So that being said, there has to be some amount of effort that would include some trajectory and kind of understanding how to control your golf ball.
Absolutely.
Right? And I don't foresee it being a massive examination of length or anything like that. I think it will be more strategic. It will be some creativity. And all those things probably work towards me. I've never been accused of being the longest player. And I've certainly got into tournaments and championships that I don't belong in, which is so beautiful about this sport, to not have the 175, 180, 190 ball speed, to not have that. You have to find different ways to score the golf ball. And usually that comes down to some ability to get the ball up and down, some ability to control your wedges a little bit and things like that. So, I sneak down to Arizona. My in-laws have a place at Dove Mountain, and I sneak down there once a month. But as we're getting closer to the event, it makes less and less sense to go down and play in the dome under perfect conditions and stuff like that. So coming up here, I'm gonna stay around here, and when it gets blowing sideways and it gets raining is when I will be out there. Right?
So yeah, right in April, right before.
Once it gets nice and weird around here, it's about the same time that I'll be out there.
Absolutely. And I feel like I used to live in the Pacific Northwest. So
Yeah.
I feel like Minnesota has its similarities from
you can find some moments for sure.
Absolutely. Well, the next question, what does qualifying for the Pro Champ mean to you personally?
Well, it's absurd. I don't sit around thinking about it too much, to be perfectly honest with you. I think this is going to be 13 for me for the national championship. It's amazingly demanding. There's 312 that have the opportunity to get into the field out of our entire membership, and the demands are even tighter when you arrive. The cut has been switched here in the last 5 or 10 years, where that first cut is down to 90. So you're taking a field of 312, and after 36 holes, you're going to 90 players. There's also a 54-hole cut that brings it down to 70. So it's a fascinating tournament. You talk about avoidance and conversion for high-level players, and most of the time, we can kind of trip over ourselves and at some point maybe make 1 or 2 or 3 birdies around, right? So the game at a high level includes a great amount of avoidance. Now you get in a field of 312 of people that have an opportunity to control their golf ball somewhat. There's not a lot of wiggle room. I've actually only made the 36-hole cut only a handful of times. And by missing a cut by 1 or 2 every year, I'm also about 3 or 4 away from being in the PGA because it's so bunched up as a field. So it's a really interesting cut. Basically, if you get through that 36, you're kind of in the mix for the top 20. I got through at Philly Country Club, which was an old school, wasn't a super long golf course, very demanding, very firm and fast, and a lot of ball control was necessary. And I was basically around the lead the whole time, and I'm also essentially 2 or 3 shots around missing another cut. So it's a very different tournament in that sense.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. So now the fun stuff, the rapid fire questions. You can say whatever comes to your mind. So we'll start off with, what is the favorite club in the bag right now?
Wedges are great. My good friend Greg Cesario, who's head of the National Players Council for TaylorMade, is also the chief wedge designer for TaylorMade. And this new forged MG5 wedge is pretty dang good. I've always liked wedges, and the new ones they have are pretty special. Great feel.
Awesome. And besides Troy, Burne, or Kilkarney, what is your favorite Minnesota or Western Wisconsin golf course?
Man, I'm kind of a dude of sport. Like, if they cut the grass and if they take pride in their facility and the people are epic, I love it. And it's a great spot. I can find so many positives in so many different properties. It's really hard for me to say, man, that was garbage, that was questionable, right? I love being outside. I love trying to figure it out. White Bear Yacht Club's a great golf course. I like the variability of the shots that you have to hit out there. Somerset's a wonderful course in Mendota Heights. I think that's a beautiful property. I can find little nuances and pieces of a lot of these properties that we have. We're absolutely overtly blessed up here with the quality of golf that we have and with the passion of the people. The community of golf in the greater Minnesota area is absolutely phenomenal. Right?
Absolutely.
And from that, we end up seeing a bunch of properties where if you actually get on property and spend time with the employees and the staff and start learning like what their story is, it's usually a pretty good story, right?
100%.
This place they've done an unbelievable job here.
Yeah, I love
so
this
I've been, I'm going into my 4th year. Pat O'Malley is the owner, single owner, private owner. and Mason Tyne is the director of golf, and there's just so much pride in what they do and the effort to get it going and get it really humming and change the quality of the turf, change the whole experience. It's everything, right?
Absolutely. It is an amazing course. So we'll go on to, instead of just Minnesota, I know that you've played Pebble and Whistling Straits. So out of those two, what do you choose, Pebble or Whistling Straits?
Well, when I played Whistling Straits, I was, speaking of earlier, getting in some situations where I probably ought not belong, right? Playing a 7,500 yard plus golf courses. We were playing some practice rounds. My brother, Carlos, the caddy, his name's Kyle. He caddies for me all the time. So he's on the bag for the PGA Championship. We're in some practice rounds, and they're putting up scaffolding, and some of the like very back boxes, you basically have to like send it over some scaffolding and stuff like that. I'm just like looking at them like, what are we doing, man? This is going to be unbelievable. Straits is pretty good. Pebble's special. The ones down on the water are really something. They are something to see and something to experience. The inland holes, they're actually fairly benign, to be honest with you. I think the overall experience for shots and really variable conditions would probably be Whistling Straits, but okay. Pebble fits me better, right? Really small greens and kind of chip and putt it around and figure it out. But
Awesome.
It was basically a non-answer, wasn't it? Let's be honest.
I mean, those are two hard courses to kind of choose from, because you got Whistling Straits, which is a Midwestern course.
Yeah.
And we are in the Midwest, but then you have something iconic like Pebble. I've been
they're just such different properties.
They are.
The raw size of Whistling Straits is a little overwhelming.
Yeah.
And to know that it was all man-made, which is very, very odd.
Yeah, it's crazy.
The size and the scope of the dunes and the landscape, to know that they pushed that all around to get it that way is pretty shocking.
Yeah. It is an amazing course to look at when you're just kind of standing out there looking over everything.
And on the other side, I think Bandon is terrifically kind of organic, and it's just kind of shaped out of what they had.
Yep, that's one place I definitely got to go is Bandon. All right, so your dream foursome, you get 3 spots to fill. Who are you walking with? Who are you walking the fairways with? To be dead or alive?
Man, I mean, it's going to be family first. So my father and my brother, my poor sister doesn't play any golf, so she probably wouldn't be in there. But I think my father and my brother would be in there. And God, we could intermix anyone. I promise you that. We could intermix anyone. Just being around people and being outside and being a part of this game. Famous, not famous, that's absurd to me. Just the idea of people that are invested in trying to do better, trying to do more, and anyone who's got that type of vibe I'm gonna enjoy spending time with them.
Amazing. That was a good answer. All right, last one. What is the best advice for a student who is grinding but not seeing the results?
Are you grinding for results? So I think you end up trying to sort out like, well, if I do this, then I'll get that, and it's super transactional. And I'd probably circle back to some things that probably need to come before that, and figure out what you're actually doing it for and why you do it. If your passion and your love is there, the outcome, the result it's almost a moot point. I would suggest doing it for a variety of different reasons than just trying to figure out some outcome or some result. I understand I don't necessarily sign up for tournaments to finish second. I get that. We're all somewhat competitive, but man, that's not it. And as I go further through life, and I try to explore it with players at an early age, and then into their collegiate careers and into their professional careers, it's more and more clear how much like the perspective and the gratitude and the mindset is all of it. And some of the outcomes and results that come from that, I couldn't have planned for any of these players. and they certainly couldn't have. It's beyond what they even thought they'd get to, right? So we squeeze it from a different spot. Now, that being said, we don't just roll out of bed and hope it's there. We're not scared to work, and we enjoy it. But boy, it's not about pushing the outcome. I assure you of that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Last final one, because I got to shout out Carlos because I love him to death.
You know my boy a little bit.
Absolutely. Every time I see him out on
he's something,
during
isn't
the tournaments, he's always the go-to. I feel like I get him on camera every single time he's out there. So.
Yeah, he's probably gonna have, right, he'll have some crazy handlebar mustache. So he's a school social worker in the elementary level in the Stillwater area school district. Does an amazing job for young people. And then he's just counting out the days where he can pull up these long, gross socks and throw out the mustache and start hanging out on the golf course. So.
And will he be on the bag at Bandon?
No. Brutal, right? So ever since the PGA switched this little soiree to springtime, it used to be a June event.
Okay.
Which was lovely, right? So we'd have a little bit more time on the preparation side of things, and Carlos would always be there, and we had some great success, certainly. And now they switched it to a spring event. So it's pretty fascinating for some of the upper Midwest and various parts of the country, actually, where you've got the biggest championship of the year, and it's an April event.
Right. The pretty much first event of the year for you guys, and it's the biggest one.
Yeah, so to that point of preparation, what does that look like, and how much of that is physical and how much of that is mental? And,
absolutely.
Right. Yeah.
Well,
he's going to be out there a ton. He will not be at Bandon. So I think local might make some sense. My wife, Courtney, will be out there. And she's like, I don't know, right? Wind starts blowing and the rain starts coming down sideways. She's like, you might want to take a local. So we might hook up with a local guy.
Definitely. Well, congratulations. Thank you for taking your time.
That's my pleasure.
I greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you.